Here's the English translation of the second episode of Muslim_Jinn by Soha_Tapson. Episode 2. As soon as the call to prayer, azan, ended, Janvi was startled. As if she had just woken up from a deep sleep. How did I get here? And why am I wearing a dupatta on my head? She questioned herself in confusion. She quickly threw the dupatta aside, lay on a bed, and soon drifted off to sleep. She had only been asleep for about half an hour when she started hearing the sound of water dripping from the bathroom. At first, she thought it was just her imagination. But the sound continued persistently. She got up and walked toward the bathroom. When she opened the door, she was surprised to see that all the taps were tightly shut, and no water was leaking from anywhere. Puzzled, she stepped out of the bathroom, only to find a pitch-black cat sitting right behind her, staring at her with fierce, glowing eyes. The cat was blocking her path. Fear gripped Janvi. Suddenly, the cat growled and leaped at her. That's when Janvi woke up with a scream. She started shouting loudly, terrified by her nightmare. Hearing her cries, Shankar and Sunita, who were downstairs, rushed upstairs. What happened, Janvi? Why are you screaming like this? Shankar asked as he hurried to her side. Recognizing her father's voice, Janvi broke down in tears and hugged him tightly. Both her parents grew extremely worried. Janvi, what happened? Say something. My heart is sinking, Sunita said anxiously. Mom, that be black cat. Janvi managed to say between sobs. Hearing the word cat, both Sunita and Shankar sighed in relief. Shankar even laughed. Ha ha ha. My brave girl got scared of a meerkat. He teased. It was just a bad dream, Janvi muttered, trying to calm herself. If you want, I can sleep with you tonight, Sunita offered. No, Mom, it's okay. You and Dad can go. Sorry for disturbing you both, Janvi replied, regaining some composure. After reassuring her, Sunita and Shankar left the room. However, even after they left, Janvi couldn't shake off her fear. She felt as if the black cat could reappear at any moment. She lay down with her eyes shut, trying to sleep. But then, she heard strange noises coming from under her bed. Her fear intensified. The noises continued. Sometimes she could hear footsteps in her room. Sometimes the sound of dripping water. Terrified, Janvi hid under her blanket, trembling. She had no idea when she finally fell asleep. The next morning, Sunita entered Janvi's room with a breakfast tray and was surprised to see her daughter dressed in a full salwar kameez, along with a dupatta. Janvi had never liked wearing such clothes. She always preferred short dresses. But today, for some unknown reason, she was fully covered. Sunita placed the tray on the bed and began feeding Janvi with her hands. Janvi, by the grace of God, you've been given a new life. Your father and I have decided to visit the temple today. You should bow before the goddess and thank her for blessing you with a second chance at life, Sunita said warmly. Hearing this, a strange fear gripped Janvi. The very thought of stepping into a temple filled her with dread. I don't want to go to any temple. You and Papa can go, but I won't, Janvi said defiantly. Why? Won't you bow before the goddess who saved your life? Sunita asked in shock. I said I'm not going. Janvi shouted angrily. For a moment, Sunita was taken aback by her daughter's sudden aggression. Then, composing herself, she spoke softly. All right, we won't force you. We'll go whenever you feel ready. No need to get angry, she said, gently brushing Janvi's hair back before kissing her forehead and leaving the room. Every night, Janvi would have the same nightmare, a black cat trying to attack her. It disturbed her deeply. However, her habits had changed. Now, she always dressed in full-length clothes. And whenever the call to prayer, azan, echoed through the air, she would instinctively cover her head with a dupatta and listen with silent reverence. Even she didn't understand why she was doing all this. One day, while cleaning her wardrobe, she took out all her short dresses and went up to the terrace. Without hesitation, she threw them onto the floor and struck a match. As the flames devoured the clothes, she stood there watching. A housemaid, who had come upstairs to dry clothes, saw Janvi burning the garments. Shocked, she rushed downstairs and informed Sunita. Sunita hurried to the terrace. But by the time she arrived, all the clothes had turned to ashes, and Janvi was pouring water over the remains. Janvi, why did you burn your clothes? Sunita asked in a raised voice. Janvi suddenly froze, as if snapped out of a trance. She looked around in confusion at her mother, at the terrace, and at the ashes on the ground. What's wrong? Answer me. Sunita shook her by the shoulders. Mom. Oh. I don't know how I got here, Janvi stammered, tears streaming down her face. Come downstairs, Sunita said, taking Janvi by the hand and leading her back to her room. She handed her a glass of water. If you didn't like those clothes, you could have just given them to a servant instead of burning them, Sunita said, trying to understand her daughter's behavior. Mom, I don't know why I burned them, Janvi whispered, still crying. Seeing her daughter's distressed state, Sunita assumed that her head injury was still affecting her judgment. She decided to let the matter go and gave Janvi a sleeping pill to help her rest. Since the incident didn't seem like a big deal, Sunita didn't mention it to Shankar. She also instructed the maid to keep quiet about it. As days passed, everyone forgot about the incident except for Janvi. She no longer left her room. She no longer spoke to anyone. Her friends called her, visited her home, invited her to outings, but she refused to meet anyone. To be continued.